So if you are here today, you are here because we are doing a workshop called The Secrets to Making Profitable Listings That Sell, and that's put on by myself and Lisa. So this is the agenda for tonight. You'll get to meet Lisa and I. We'll talk about product foundations, content foundations, because that's a huge part of selling a product, and ad foundations. And then we'll have some time for Q&A. All right, so about myself, my name's Fiyin Obayan. With my work, I do a lot of content creation, so videography, photography, helping with social media. That's been my area for the past 5 years. And especially now, I've really honed in on video. And so that is more of what I bring to the table. And I'll pass it on to Lisa.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Lisa McNab, and thank you all so much for being here. I'm a digital marketing specialist, and I focus on e-commerce, product development, and then also content creation around those products. I've been dabbling in e-commerce for over a decade, but I got more serious within the past 5 years. And even prior to that, I was in retail and merchandising and electronic sales. I'm a big nerd at heart, and I really heavily got into Amazon FBA and then kind of branched out to other areas, especially Shopify. So I'll go into all of those things, and I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you. So I'm going to share with you my process for everything that goes into creating product listing, what it takes to actually put all the pieces together for that, and then what is the information that really sells and really sets you apart. And then my number one tip with everything, with every client that I work with all of my products, everything that I do, I keep everything in one spot, all the information, all of the pictures, all the files, all the links, the passwords, everything I keep in my Google Drive. And if you haven't used it, I highly recommend create your free Google account and play around with Drive. There's docs in there, like that's your documents. You have your sheets, which is like your Excel spreadsheets. And you could also store lots of photos in there. They actually have forms. They have so many, like endless different types of Google apps that you can even start making money from those apps too. But that's a great starting place for getting all of your information together and keeping it in one spot. So when you do expand your business and hire staff or virtual assistants, or maybe you want to sell your business eventually, or hand your business over to your children or a successor. Those are really, really important things. All of those things combined, and plus just keeping all of your information together is such a key thing to have it on somewhere easily accessible so you don't get things mixed up. And I'll go on to the product and brand. So on the next slide. So can you post in the chat, what is your product and what is the brand of it? For example, like this one is a product of one of my clients. The brand is the Terra Supra, and then we have the Terra Vita name of the product, and then has like the slogan. So just kind of as like a nice example there. So some of the products that I sell online, I sell a lot of different types of them. Originally, I was just in health, kind of in wellness. And then I realized the more products you have on, especially Amazon, the higher percentage that you would get sales of. So I ended up adding like, I think I have well over 150 products now, and that's across Canada and US. And there's just higher probability of getting sales the more products you have. So again, that's why it's really important to organize all of your data. On the next slide here, this is e-commerce mind map that I created. It was about 2 years ago. I created a whole course around this, and I'll post the link to it in the chat as well. So this is kind of a full macro overview of what all the different types of e-commerce are and how they can actually connect together. So if you create your own product yourself, you can make your business more profitable by adding other types of complementary products, become an influencer or use influencers, do coaching, e-courses. It expands so far. And in this little mini course here, I have, you can also see that more in depth too. So I just posted that in the chat. And then it also has the link to it on this slide as well. And
yeah, I believe that's free too, Lisa. Is that right?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. So yeah.
For sure.
And then, so on the next slide here, it's really, really important to know your products really well. Because I found, working in sales for over, I think I started when I was about 18 in sales. And it's so important to know, like, who's your target demographic? Why are they buying it? What is it for? Where are they going to be using it? How are they going to be using it? Make sure you have this all laid out in your Google Docs as well, just so you know, and any people who end up joining your team, they all know all of the reasons why these products are worth using and worth buying and worth selling, because that's, super key. And then on the next one, it goes into what is the problem that your product is solving for people, and what are all the different solutions out there. So for this product, I've been selling it on Amazon for quite a while, and it's a little EMF blocker. You can put it on the back of your phone, on your computer, your microwave. And so it has a few different problems on it, like radiation can cause insomnia, headache, hair loss. And then this is the solution, that it's providing a shield for anti-electromagnetic radiation. So, and it can help you sleep better. It can help, reduce all of those other symptoms. So problem versus the solution, and be very, very clear, especially on the problem, because sometimes it's hard to pin down exactly what the problem is. And then on the next slide here, it's always good to see what your competition is doing as well. Sometimes it can get pretty intimidating, especially when you're up against like larger brands that have been around for a really long time, and they have like 10,000 views and they're 5-star, they have way better SEO. How can you really compete with that? And a lot of times you can just look through their listing and see, okay, what's really missing in their listing? Or do they have any complaints? What are the major complaints that they're getting on this? How can I differentiate my product and my brand from them? And a lot of times competition ends up being a really good thing online, because not everyone wants the same thing. Not every customer is the same. Not everyone wants the same experience or the same price or the same bundle of products together either. So study your competition, but don't let them get you down. Let them build you up to a way of just learning from what they're doing right now and seeing how you can do it better or just do it differently. And then on the next one, we talk about goals. And so if you don't know where you're going, how can you get there? So try and make goals, set them weekly, monthly, quarterly, seasonally, yearly, 5 years from now. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see your products or your services? How do you want to expand your business? And make that roadmap and really have, your eyes on the prize too with that. Especially with seasonal products versus like evergreen products. I do quite a lot of seasonal products, especially at this time of year. I have them all ready to go before Black Friday and then also into Christmas time. And then those products I don't usually have in stock for the rest of the year. And then I have my summer stock products as well. And so, having those unique goals and like knowing major selling dates, like Black Friday, it's a 4-day kind of event coming up this weekend, which is super exciting. And there's also Prime Day, which I think it was last year they sold, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was like 6 billion or something. Maybe it was 4 billion. It's like a ridiculous amount of money within a day and a half, basically. And last year, I think they did 4 billion, I believe, or no, maybe it was 2 billion. Sorry. But it's, it's just ridiculous, like how much they, like Amazon in particular, can sell just over the course of a couple days because of these major, massive sales. And usually I set my goals for Black Friday as I want to sell what I usually sell in like 3 months in like each quarter. I want to be able to sell that on Black Friday, just in the 4 days of sales. And then sometimes I won't even sell very much at Christmas time because a lot of people they've already done their shopping at that point and they're just getting last minute deals, and then they get angry if shipping doesn't go your way. And the last 2 years of shipping has been such a headache. So anyways, set your goals and stay on top of them, adjust them as you need to, and keep those major selling dates in mind. So on the next one here, we're going to be talking about the title. So what do you think is a good title? Is it better to have a short one or a long one? Super, super long one? And the famous answers of a marketer is, it depends. It depends on what platform you're on and you're listing your products on. Typically on Shopify, you want a shorter, more concise, nice little title. But on Amazon, it's more of like a search engine rather than an actual shop or store. So you want to use up every character space you possibly can. And that's kind of the same thing with like Google, Facebook. A lot of times I highly recommend if people can just import their products or connect it to their Facebook shop, and then it'll just pull it in from your store. Another thing with the long title, like on larger search engines, people are scrolling on there all the time and they want things that are, well, their eyes are going to gravitate to things that really stick out. Whereas if it's on your Shopify site, they're already on there, they're already looking. And so you can have those nice shorter titles. And then the next part is making it sellable on all platforms. So if you do handmade goods, or if you do any type of like natural product that you make yourself, it's really important that you get the regulations all up to date. You have your UPC codes, and I'll go into that a bit more on the next slide. Make sure your packaging is all done properly. For if you have your own home business, you can send things out in these little packages and just put them in an envelope, ship them out. It's easy peasy. But if you do things like this on Amazon, you need to put them in actual like plastic so they don't spill out, especially if it's like a liquid product or any type of food product or oils. They like to have them in kind of a plastic wrap, more so like this, I guess, just to keep them so they don't bust open if there's any like changes in temperature while they're being shipped, and changes in pressure and temperature. So, and then making sure too you have the right specifications as well. Especially when you're doing exporting to other countries. Canada is probably one of the most pickiest countries, so we're pretty lucky in that aspect that we already have really high standards. So most of the time it's all good sending it out to America. But you like here in Canada, though, the downside is you do have to have French and English on the packages as well. Just like these guys here, they have the French and the English. And if you're in Quebec, you have to have the French first. So there's all those little things that you need to be aware of, and you need to have the proper packaging and specifications on all of your product listings just to make sure that it's sellable. Then with the UPC codes, so this is my spreadsheet, or one of them that I did a couple of years ago, and I bought, it was 100 UPC codes for $60 or something, and it was one of the best purchases investments that I made for my company, because anytime I wanted to add a new product or create a new type of bundle, or and then once I started doing more consulting for clients, I was able to sell these UPC codes and always have like backup codes for people too, which is awesome. And there's quite a few different sites out there where you can buy these from. I highly recommend if you're really serious, you want to expand your lines, you want to go and sell on multiple platforms, get a package of UPC codes as well. And then we'll go into the photos. So photos will help your product sell no matter what, especially though for women. We like to really look at the photos, especially if there's someone's face in it and you can kind of connect with their eyes. They should obviously be high resolution. If you can do like 2500 by 2500 pixels, that is a great ratio. So you can actually like zoom in on the picture. Ideally, having a white background on at least the first 2 to 3 photos is the best, and showing the different sides of it as well. And then going on to showing how the product is used. What are the different types of uses for it? What other products can you use in unison with it, or complementary uses? How do you use it? Go step-by-step directions or the assembly directions. And what are the dimensions? Like, how does it fit in a person's palm, or is it, going to be taller than they are? How heavy is it? So I'll give you some examples in the next slides here. So see in the first picture on the left-hand side, it's a nice white background. They added some fire in there, which makes it even, it kind of comes to life, and you can really understand what the product is. You don't need any explanation. It's a little cooker stove. And then in the one on the right-hand side, it gives you the step-by-step installation. It gives you little features of the product while it's showing the step-by-step process. And then I think this one's kind of, this has the complementary products. So that's a great way that you could bundle this. If you're selling something like a little cooker stove, you could sell some charcoal chips with it, or some kindling, or some fuel as well with it. And then on the next picture, it shows you all the different uses as well. So you can cook different things, you can boil on it, whatever you want. It kind of shows you in there those nice infographics. And then the next one's a really key photo. This has the dimensions in it. And these ones are kind of like the money shot ones, because people are always looking for, will it fit in this thing? Will it be too heavy, or is it going to be, light enough for me to carry while I'm going camping, or while I'm doing, whatever people are doing with your particular product? How does it, fold down, folding up sizes, everything like that. It's all in this nice one picture. And then on the next one, it's what not to do. So look at how tiny the little cooker is and the little pots. It's like it's for a doll. This is not a good superimposed product at all. So whether you're doing, editing these pictures yourself, or if you're paying someone else to edit them, make sure they're life size, or, realistic. They actually are the size that it's supposed to be, because there's a lot of scams online, and you want to make sure you are putting your product with the best images forward and the best information forward, so people they don't feel like they're being deceived. And this photo is just, it's kind of comical in a way. And then on the next slide, I show how to, the proper size of what it should realistically be. So that's just a good example of what to do, what not to do with those. And then with the description and info on the product listing, so kind of similar to the product listing photos, you want to have all of those details written out nicely, have those super keywords inside of the description. Having 3 to 5 features and benefits is best. Don't do more than 5, because it can be too much sometimes for people to go through. And some examples I'll have on the next slide of these as well. But have your instructions laid out, how to use, what is it for, what can you use with it, what are the specifications, what are the different colors, the sizes, the depends on the product, obviously, and then weights, everything like that. There's also the shipping weight and then also the actual product weight. Those are two different things. And then if you have any warnings, like if there's maybe a choking hazard for small kids, or if it is not supposed to be ingested or put on skin, things like that are really, really important. And then what's your guarantee? Do you have a 30-day money back guarantee? Is it 3 months, or is it 1 year, or is it no guarantee, no refunds? So having those things laid out too is super key. Just so people aren't caught off guard. That's, one of the things that customers can get really upset about is if they have an idea of what a product should be, and then it's different when they get it, and then trying to return can just turn into a nightmare. Shipping is always a headache for sellers and buyers, especially with the pandemic too. It's made shipping times way, way more. And as long as you're just really honest with people about it, saying, I'm really sorry for the shipping, the times are a little bit longer, or if you bundle things together, you can get a lower shipping cost, or do what you can with shipping to make it seem like more value for the people, or else just informing them before they just click buy and then they realize, oops, the shipping is going to take 5 weeks. So as long as you're honest and open, it's good. And we'll go into I think it's just one. You can click the first link, the Allbirds, on there. So this is a really nice shoe company, and this is a great, beautiful design Shopify store. So it has the 2 different colors on there. It has the pictures with the white backgrounds. You can see the different size options, and then up a little bit, it shows they have 4 features and benefits. So it's like renewable materials, machine washable, minimizes odor, flexible. And then you can actually click to drop down like the description, shipping and returns, the care guide. So instead of like a how-to guide, they have like your care guide. So again, it depends on the type of product that you have. And but you can get creative with different things of, how to really take care of your product so it lasts a long time. And then I have some other links on there too, that if you want other examples of that, you can go into those. And so with SEO, it is really, really important to have your keywords, and you can research this yourself through Google keyword search. You have to make a Google Ads account, and then that's a whole nother conversation there. So it is possible to do those words yourself. You can also spy on your competition and see what they're using for their certain words. And then you can also pay someone else to do it on Fiverr or Upwork. And then you get really, really honed in keywords that, you don't have to spend hours and hours researching. So keywords are super important, especially when it comes to more of like the search engine type platforms, like if you are on Google Shops, or if you're doing like Amazon or eBay. Super, super important. And then next one. So again, I kind of touched on a bit of like what the guarantee is. How do you want people to handle returns? Sometimes it's not even worth having them return the product, like depending on the product. Like this one is such a small little thing. I would just say, I'll refund you your money, and sorry for the inconvenience, whatever happens. And Amazon does that a lot of times too, is if someone returns something that's really small, they'll just give them a refund and they don't even have to return the product. So because shipping it back and you get a crappy, the product isn't sellable anymore. Sometimes it's easier if it's just, the person keeps it and they get their money back, and you can turn that poor situation into a positive situation. And then also, what's your customer retention too? A lot of times what I do is I'll put like a little card with my products, or like a post-it card, or a postcard within my products. And I say, $10 off your next purchase, or 20% off your next purchase. Sign up to our newsletter, or give us 5-star review. Things like that are great ways of helping your customers get to know you better, and get them to come back to your store as well. So one big tip that I always do, it's kind of my go-to trick, is to bundle products, especially if there's a lot of competition around certain products. And so I'm trying to think of an example here. So with this one, this is a face and skin kind of exfoliant, and it's all natural. So with this, you could pair it with one of those like massage rollers, and maybe like a hair tie, or create like a little self-care bundle in there. So even if other people are selling the same product, yours stands out and it has more value. You can even raise the price up too with that, because of the greater value or greater perceived value in there as well. Other things that you can do through your Shopify site, they have a ton of great plugins on there, and you can do upsells, downsells, and cross sells. So upsells is when you have your product, and then if you want to add in, so like when someone's about to buy it and they have it in their cart and they go buy now, and then you could have a little pop-up that comes up and says, oh, do you want to get 2 for a slightly lesser price, so they can upgrade their product. And then if maybe they say, no, I don't want that, then you could offer a downsell and say, oh, how about this little face massager for $2? And then cross sells are kind of different ways that you can do this as well. So if maybe there's an ebook, something that's not really a product, or it's like, there's a lot of S's in there. I just noticed. So there's a lot of different unique things where you can get really creative with your product listings to increase the price, add more value, and create more intimate relationships with you and your customer base. And then you can also expand your product. You can just keep expanding it basically with flex commerce. On the next slide, I have my McNab again. So I call flex commerce basically like, if you want to go to the next slide, it's using 2 or more types of e-commerce in unison. So say you do have your Shopify store, and then you have your own products that you're developing, then you're reselling other products, then you're also doing affiliate marketing. So you have people who are promoting your products for you. You're promoting your products through like social media groups, you're creating your content. Then you could also create like an e-course of like how to make those products, and so on and so forth. You could develop an app, you could do so many of these different things. So I love doing that with clients, like brainstorming all the different types of e-commerce and flex commerce strategies to really make their brands grow and expand. And then just a little recap here. So that was all of everything that goes into creating a product listing and your brand to sell. online on different platforms, and then all those pieces that get put together, and then the little tips at the end there.
Okay. So with these content foundations, what I really want to give everyone is an opportunity to have tools that they can, is it still spotlighted on you, Lisa? I think it might be. Let's see.
Yeah, it's pinned.
Okay. Okay, just so people can see who's talking. All right. So anyways, with the content foundations, I really want you to have tools that you can see today and literally use right after this workshop. On top of that, we're recording this workshop and we're going to send you the slides and with all the hyperlinks. So this is meant to be something that you can continually use and fall back on when you forget some of these tips. So it's going to be ready for you. So in my section, we're going to cover recommended tools to create content and create it quickly, types of content, types of platforms, and organic versus paid. So the best starter tools that you could use, in my opinion, are Canva, which we've actually used to create this workshop. They have a presentation mode that you can use and lots of different designs that we can work with and create from scratch even, and InShot. So I'm going to start with Canva. Canva, as you can see this animation, this is both an app that you can use on desktop primarily and mobile. You can use it free and you can use it paid. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. You can see this is my Canva right here. And I'm going to stop share and reshare for a second because this thing has expanded. So it won't let me use the corners. Let me get back on. Okay. So one of the things I love about Canva is they've literally made your life as a content creator way easier. If you are someone who has never created content in your life, this will pretty much save your life. They literally have every template you can think of. They have a whole social media section. They have presentations. They have videos. You can even do print products from here. So like Lisa is saying, if you had like a book or if you had like stickers or something that you wanted to match with your product and your brand, you can actually create that right on this platform and have it printed and sent to you very much like a Vista print, except you can do it all from the platform itself and it just works seamlessly. Things for marketing, things for office, more presentations. That's what we use for the presentation today. What I love is the social media because they've already come up with the sizes for every platform and they're on top of the new stuff too. So let's say you're like, oh, I want to make a TikTok video. Well, you can search that. They will actually already have templates for you to use, or you can start blank and you're just ready to go. So it's really an amazing feature. Another thing is that I used the free version for about 5 years. So it's only this year. And because of accelerating some of the things that I'm doing for some of my new clients now, that it actually started to make sense for me to upgrade. And that's the other part I want to show you. So we'll go back to our presentation here so I can show you what it looks like in the inside. So this is our presentation template that we have created, we have designed. But if you look at what you have on the side here, there's several templates you can use. Then if you want to add elements to whatever your type of content post is, one of the reasons I upgraded, well, first I'm going to show you the elements. So they have, you can have shapes added, graphics, photos, videos, and they've now even integrated with audio, which means if you're creating something for YouTube or something that needed royalty-free music, Canva has actually integrated with Epidemic Sound, which is normally its own subscription base, so that you can literally add music right to the content creations you're already making. There's charts, there's frames where you can add pictures to, so it's really, really user-friendly. If we look at the photos part, one of the reasons I upgraded is because if we're talking about stock photos, they already have thousands of stock photos. ready to go for you to use. And some of them are premium photos, so you wouldn't have access to them. But because I'm on their subscription, I can use any of these at any time. This includes videos as well. So if you're wanting some videos, specific videos representing different things, there are thousands, again, of videos that have already been uploaded for you that are ready to go. So that's one of the reasons I love Canva. You can use it both free, you could use it paid. And if you are a solopreneur, this will save you a lot of time and you've never designed in your life, or you just need things to be designed right away. Maybe you're part of a street fair where you're selling your products and you want some nice posters for your table. You want to design your business card, anything you can think of. They just make it so much easier. It is pretty much made to make content really easy. On top of that, you could even schedule content to your social media platforms. So let's say I was wanting to share a social media post. There's actually a way to connect your social media directly to your Canva account, especially when you get the paid one, and you can schedule the content too, all from this platform. So again, this is not a sponsored thing with Canva at all. This is just literally what Lisa and I use a lot. I know how to design on Adobe and different platforms, which I still use. But in terms of quick iterations for content, you cannot go wrong using this app. Okay, so the next one. So this next one here, I'm gonna actually play a video to really get into it. But this next one is InShot. I personally use it on my phone too to create video content and create it quickly. And you can use it for free and you can use the paid. And the paid one is a one-time payment. I think it's like $18 or $21, and that's a lifetime payment. So once you pay it, it's there. It's mobile only. And yeah, we'll just get into this video. You can all watch me explaining it and showing you. I screen recorded myself using this app so that you can see how it works.
Hello, everyone. So what you're going to do is you're going to click InShot right here. And what you'll see is that there's a photo option, a collage option, and a video option. I definitely recommend this free version, but it's still the paid version. And when I did paid, this actually was like $8. That's a lot. So it's paid stuff. Something like that. It's not kind of. Then just click create new, and from there you can choose any video that you want to pick. So I will pick one that I've already posted. And I'm just going to show you a few features.
Sorry, Fiyin, I don't know if you can reiterate that a bit. It was pretty hard to hear.
Can you hear that? Okay, if you're not all hearing that, basically I was just explaining the price and what the experience is like when you get into the app. Let me know, by the way, if this volume is not coming through at all on this video, I can just explain it from here and be playing it. So yeah, just keep me posted, Lisa.
I can kind of hear it, but it's not super clear.
Yeah, are people letting me know in the chat? No, just the video volume. Your voice is fine. Okay, that's okay. I'll turn this off and just be explaining it. So basically here, what I've done is if I scroll back a little bit, you click your video, and if you click Canvas right here, that's the first option. Then you basically get these options of different sizes. So they have, you can do 1x1, you can do 9x16, which is the TikTok size. You can do the YouTube horizontal size. So they're already there, and you can take the same video and literally convert it to these different sizes. So it makes your life way easier in that. So you'll see me kind of play around with it in this clip, but I can take this video that was filmed vertically, and if I need it to be a different size for some reason, I would just literally click that size, and then that would convert what it looks like. So I believe that's coming up here. Yeah, so you can see, you can choose different sizes, different dimensions. Of course, it's ideal to film in the size you need, but that option is there. This option is music. So again, they have their own royalty-free music too. You can add the music onto the track. Generally speaking, if you're using TikTok or Instagram, they already have music samples that you can add. But if for some reason you were in a situation where you wanted a different sound or needed different music, or like the horizontal options, where that's not an automatic, like an Instagram post is an automatic that you have the full music for the full clip, that's a way to do it. So going into it, you can also do filters if you want. So they have different filters that you can play around with and you can adjust from there. And then we also have the ability to, you know, just check through the clip. And I believe I'm going to talk about splitting content. So if I just want to split the content, you just go up to the part you want to split. You just click that button and it's already done. So it's very quick to edit, very quick to adjust, super user friendly. You can adjust the speed. You can speed it up really fast, or we can take it really slow. And that can all be done very easily right in the app itself. And you can crop if you want. And then another cool feature that they have is that you can actually flip the perspective. Now, in this case, it looks very strange because I have, words at the top. So by flipping it, it's not readable, and maybe that could be a comedic, addition. But if, let's say you did film something and it was the wrong way around, it can actually resolve that for you. So that is a brief overview of how this app works. And then at the end of the day, when you finish that video that you're trying to create, you would just pick the resolution, click save, and then after that, just have it ready to go. And you should be able to find it right in your phone's gallery. I use a Samsung. I know a lot of people probably use iPhone, and you can find it under the category of InShot and find the video that you worked on. So that is the walkthrough of how that works. Okay, so those are the two tools that I could recommend to you right away, that if you were to use right now, you would be equipped to be able to create content. Okay, so next, more content tools. This is for you all to reflect on after the fact. This is just a brief overview here, but here are more tools that are available in both free and paid and can be used for content creation. Okay, so types of content. We have images, we have graphics, we have videos, we have blogs. The key in this is to pick one and do it consistently. We know you wear a lot of hats, creating your products, running a business, all of that, what comes with that. So although content is essential, and we know that more now than ever with the pandemic, it's really important that you can pick one that you can show up on a regular basis and do very well. Okay, so the first example we have is images. So this is Carleen Haday and this is Laura Payne's images for their art that they're selling. Carleen actually posts on a very unconventional platform, and that being LinkedIn. But because there's not a lot of artists on LinkedIn and people are able to see her images, she posts pictures of her process of painting the art. It's gotten her some pretty lucrative buyers, even as far as Dubai. And this is a local artist that just lives in my city here. Laura Payne, she posts her art on Instagram, and she's been able to be featured in many art galleries as a result, because again, people need to see your products to be able to purchase and to be able to participate with what you have to offer. These are both hyperlinked, by the way. So when you get this document after, you will be able to check out their pages yourselves. Okay, so an example of graphics. This is a graphic made by a home decor company in my city. And this is something you can easily create on a product like Canva. And so this is another example, like if you're having a sale, a pop-up shop, just having graphics ready to go and using these tools that I gave you that are pretty much plug and play so that you can get that word out more efficiently. Okay, so we have types of videos. So we have short form videos, which are the big thing right now. So that being Reels, TikToks, and even YouTube Shorts. YouTube is joining that whole competition. We have lives. And lives are really great too. For some of you, you're like, well, my thing takes a really long time to make, and that would be hard to really show. I have seen a lady do a bouquet of flowers and make a live about that process, where she's just the floral shop. She puts together these bouquets, these different, arrangements, and she just does a live of it, and people watch it, and that's her way of showing up and making sales. We can do stories and long form, of course, for video being YouTube. So examples of videos. Here are 3 types of content that if you are a product maker, that I believe would be very effective for you. One is the process video. As I mentioned before, show the process of you making the product. People love to actually see what it took to get their final product, and it gets them more invested in the product and the uniqueness of it. That's definitely a way to stand out. Before and after, again, kind of similar, but again, showing people how something can come from nothing. People love that. And showcasing your inventory. So we're going to look at examples of all 3. These are in the short form category. So they're very short, as you will quickly see. They're Reels or TikToks. So this individual is showing their packaging process, right? So even something as small as packaging, that seems like a very mundane thing in some ways that a business owner just has to do, but people love seeing that, especially if it's for a product that they want to support. Okay, so let's go into the next one, and the next one being before and after. So that was just an instant like, wow, right? Because you're just seeing, I'm guessing those are the moldings or something that she uses to make these earrings. And all of a sudden you just see this beautiful product just popping out at you. So that is another example. And then finally, showcasing your inventory. And I believe some of these have music too. Yeah. And again, a lot of that music can be found and done right through the app itself. But of course, if you want other music or have something else you want to add, that's why all of these apps have opportunities for you to add your own music and sound. So these are more examples of videos that you all can check out on your own time. Again, we will send this all to you just as a reference and to get inspired. But as you can see, it doesn't have to be complicated. So remember, process, before and after, and showing inventory are just at least 3 ways to really show your product off. And finally, we have an example of a blog. Again, blogs are usually time consuming, but if you can make your blog make sense, and if that's something you're doing consistently, then it's good for your products. I love this because this is a local business that they sell furniture, they sell home decor. And they took the time to make a blog that says how to choose furniture that will stand the test of time. So not only are they educating and giving tips, but they have pictures of what they sell throughout this blog. I think this is an excellent way to get people engaged and showcase what you have while giving them value. So types of platforms. As we know, now more than ever before, there are so many platforms you can be on. So what is the answer? You have to pick at least one that you can be consistent on. Yes, so I think because tonight is focused on products, not just social media in general, it makes a lot of sense to pick something that is visually representing. That's why Instagram is obviously a very popular platform for a lot of products. Of course, it depends on your industry, but a lot of visual products, a lot of consumer products, right? Instagram or Pinterest do very well because those are very visual platforms that people experience everything visually first. And so if you had the time, the team to make longer form content around that, that's when a YouTube would come in. And if you find that maybe you're not a picture person, but you love doing those little videos, that could be something where TikTok does very well. Some people have really sold out of products on TikTok because they love doing those little types of videos that you saw on Instagram Reels and also on a TikTok, and they also do very well. People love seeing the process. A lot of artists have sold out art through TikTok because people are seeing their journey. And so just thinking creatively how to really engage the customers with you and with the uniqueness of what you're bringing to them. Content is one of the ways that makes business owners stand out. As Lisa mentioned, what makes you stand out from the crowd? And some people will buy so much because they're invested in the person behind the brand. So just to start to think about that. But in addition to that, if you're not someone who likes to show your face, as a product creator, you're even lucky, because as you can see in most of the videos I showed you, we didn't actually see the business owner at all, but we did see what they were creating. So if you find that you're camera shy, that there's a lot of options for you there, and you can really make the content be the character in your videos rather than yourself, and still have that opportunity to make people feel like they're connecting with you. This question, when is the best time to post, right? People are always like, oh, do you post on Monday, Tuesdays? Like, I'm sure you've seen those blogs that are like, if it's Facebook, it has to be between 12 and 4 on Tuesday. Yeah, it really, honestly, the best time to post is like, find out when your audience is on, for one, for you, because it could be unique to you. Maybe 12 to 4 is good for a big corporation, but maybe people check out your content at 8 p.m. on Sunday for some reason. And if you find that's the case, that's when you should post. And how often, whether it's once a week, twice a week, or 3 times a week, the key is to be consistent. So I would say start small and build up. If you have another staff member, or if you have other people on your team, you might be able to support doing multiple posts, multiple places, right? But if you're just starting up, keep it simple, keep it consistent, and keep it as a quality post. So paid versus organic. I love to start with the organic, because as we know, with business owners, you're trying to save your money. So what can we do organically before engaging the paid side of things? So this one, I used the term hashtags, and I was referring more to Instagram, which is in line with what you all said you use. So in light of Instagram, try to use trending hashtags in your industry, and not just in your industry, maybe in your geographic region as well. Like if you're where I'm from, YXC is a very big hashtag, or YXC local. And so if you're trying to reach those people locally, try and use hashtags where you know that they follow and they're trying to catch up with information about things. Um, this also applies though to SEO, right? When you're making things that people want to search terms, what would your client actually be typing in and searching if they're trying to look for something? And hashtags work very similarly. So if they're like, Saskatoon bakeries, right? Maybe they'll look up Saskatoon bakeries as a hashtag, and then you'll come up in the content. So really start to think about, what are my clients looking for when they're looking for my content? And how will they find me, right? If anything, we know the noise is so much now. The internet and people using the internet has 5x. So really, if you're not doing some of these tools to stand out, don't be surprised if you're like, wait, why isn't this having more momentum? What is going on here, right? This has been a challenge for everyone, from small business to corporate. People are trying to find the way of communicating and standing out. And when they get it, it goes very well. Follow your ideal clients. Who are the people who love, support, champion, and buy your products the most? If you have an idea of the type of client that's been kind of coming to you on a regular basis, as you're exploring sites, especially like on Instagram, maybe it's the people liking your post. Even your competition, right? Maybe they make the same type of post, and you can follow the people that like their posts too. Or in the similar industry, maybe it's a bundle effect, right? Maybe you're doing baking and you do cakes, and you see weddings, and you see people who like posts about weddings, and you can follow them. Just trying to figure out, who's your ideal client? What are their interests? What kind of things are they looking for? And being in those bubbles, being in those spaces, digitally speaking. Okay. And then reshare with your local forums if you're part of a Facebook group, WhatsApp chat, wherever there's opportunities for a community to know what you're up to. Reshare, if you have a pop-up shop, anything coming up so they know. Okay, and if you have an email list, use that, especially if you're doing blogging, and especially if you're trying to have turnaround sales. Email lists have quite a high conversion rate. So if for your product you find you have an email list that's pretty dedicated, definitely leverage that for sales. It's 3 out of 4 times more likely for people to buy a product through an email if they're following a dedicated email list than almost any other thing that they're on. So recap of this section is to use trending hashtags in your industry, follow your ideal clients, reshare to local forums, and finally share with your email list. Okay, so we're going into paid. So for paid ads, you want to use an ad that targets your ideal client. And remember all those facts that we're talking about. What are their interests? What are they looking up? You want to use an ad that targets that. If you only sell local, then you target locally, right? Make sure it's geographically reflective of what you're doing. And try to only use ads on platforms your target audience uses if you have a limited budget. Consider local outreach as well, local influencers. Influencer marketing is huge right now, and blogs and newsletters. So if you have influencers who typically use products in your space, like to use products in your space, that's a really good opportunity. I recently paid to have an ad in a newsletter because I knew that's where my target audience lived. And so just having a way for them to see me in their newsletter email, I thought that made sense. So again, look for those opportunities. So ads to consider. You can do Facebook ads, TikTok ads. Facebook, I should add in there. There's also Instagram ads, right? If you think your audience is only on Instagram, but this group has Facebook and Instagram as the top two. So in that case, it's great because when you make an ad, you can actually have it targeting both platforms at the same time. Because Facebook's kind of like the big umbrella company, as you can see with this situation. And we have YouTube and we have influencers. So recap, tonight we talked about, with the content section, we talked about types of tools, types of content, types of platforms, how often to post, and organic versus paid. And if you remember one thing from all of this tonight, it's to pick one and to be very consistent with it. So in addition, we're going to kind of add a bonus here of talking a little bit about ads. Now, I won't take forever on this, but I will walk you through what a basic Facebook ad looks like. And then Lisa will take us through what the search engine basics are. So to make a Facebook ad, you will need a Facebook business page. So if you haven't done that already, you will need to create one. Facebook makes it fairly easy to create a page. And then on that page, you'll have to connect a credit card. And from there, they get you to create an ads manager where you can manage your ads. So this is basically what it looks like. If you look up, type Facebook Ads Manager in the internet, it'll take you to a page and it'll have that, and you press that button and that button will lead you to where I'm going to lead you right now. So you can see what that looks like. And we're going to go into this account. And so this is one of my regular accounts that I've used. There's multiple pages I've managed, but we're going to go in here and we're going to pretend once it's done loading that I'm going to create an ad. So this is for the purposes of walking you through this tonight. Also keep in mind that this is recorded, so you can always look at this over again if you feel like you've missed something. But we see with the ad, we can choose the type of campaign we want. We have, awareness, we have consideration, and we have conversion. So I'm going to pick traffic, for example, if you're going to put traffic towards your store site. And then you continue. And then from there, you can pick what type of campaign you want. If you have a little more money and time and you're comfortable with Facebook, you can also add in the feature of A/B testing, which is a whole other thing, but just testing which ad is performing the best. So let's say in this ad, I want people to reach my website. I will leave it at that. And then you have your daily budget. You can do daily budget, or you could do lifetime budget. You can do like a start date that it continues going forever, or you can pick an end date. And another thing you'll notice with this budget is they'll talk about your audience definition, right? They're like, your audience is fairly broad. So what you can do here, and this is where I'm talking about getting really nitpicky, you can start to go, you know what? I don't want this to be all of Canada. I just want this to be like Saskatoon, and I want like Dundurn. This is like near where I live. So people who are not in this province may not know where any of these places are, right? And then you can say, oh, you know what? I think 25 miles is too far. I'm going to make it 10. And you can see that's already changing this from being like 27 million to 200,000. Okay, let's go. This age range is a little too wide. I'm going to make it like 28 to, and then see it's already going down to 50. Now, a good starting point for an ad is that you want to get it down to like between 80,000 and 100,000, just so it starts to be more targeted. And then you can go very specific and you can go, hey, you know what? I'm trying to find people. Wonderful. Okay, yeah. Who are interested in Shopify. You know, and then it's getting, so for where I live, that is very precise, and it's getting to the point where Facebook's like, that's a little too precise, right? And you can play around and toggle around with terms, with ages, with regions, with how far it is, until it gets to that 80,000 to 100,000 reach. Then you can do automatic placements, or you can do manual. So this is a good example. Like if you're like, you know what, I want it to show up in some places but not other places, you can choose between that. For the purpose of the time, I'm going to keep moving forward. Then once you have made the ad, you can decide if you want to use, video or image or carousel or collection. So maybe your product has multiple colors and multiple shapes. A carousel version might be really good, or collection. And then you can put in your headline and title and description and the website. And if you have tracking, you can do that as well. So this is like the brief Coles notes of how to make a Facebook ad in terms of basics. But the biggest part I showed you all, which I think is the most relevant, is creating that unique audience. Once you've created it too, you can actually save the audience, but really start to think about what are the characteristics of your client? What are their interests, right? Again, if you bring up cakes, maybe it's weddings, maybe it's birthday parties, maybe it's all of this. And you can literally search these topics when you're creating a Facebook ad. So with that being said, I am going to pass it on to Lisa, who will give us the basics on search engines. And let me know in the chat, do you feel that the Facebook ads basic run through is helpful? Have you all used Facebook ads before? I'm very curious if you've actually gone in the behind the scenes system, and let me know in the chat. Because I'm sure a lot of you have seen like Boost, right? And that's kind of like the front facing one, but like really getting into nitty gritty. Yeah, doing Instagram ads are a very different process for sure. And the thing with Facebook ads too is once you've done them, it automatically goes on to both unless you tell it not to go on Instagram. So that's the interesting part as well. And so often you'll have to upload something or have something that's optimized sizing wise for both platforms. And that's where, having those sizes ready already gets you kickstarted. So even when you're making an ad on Facebook, if you intend it for both platforms, knowing that this audience uses both, think about that. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely try the Facebook ads and start very small so you can make sure, that they're not schooling you for money. You can even start with small amounts at a time. That budget's at $20 a day. You can play around with it and you can like bring it down to 5, or just until you see that you're getting some bang for your buck. I could do a whole other thing on Facebook, but I knew that would fit into this workshop. So I just try to give you the Coles notes, and yeah, and Lisa will do the same thing now with the search engine. basics as well.
And with Facebook ads, I like doing manual always. So I pick the area exactly how I want it because I find Facebook will try and post it in too many places and they like to rack up their bills. Same with Google a bit too. So for search engine ads, obviously like Google, Bing, and then there's also listing sites like Yellow Pages and Yelp. And then marketplaces, those are also technically like search engines, Amazon being the largest one. And so with Google, you have to create your AdWords account, how I mentioned before. And when you sign up to it, actually, I think you still get $100 free in Google Ads and possibly some other little freebies too. So if you haven't done that, I highly recommend go sign up for Google AdWords and try it out. It can get really pricey, especially if you have anything with real estate or vehicles. It's almost not worth doing Google ads because they're just crazy expensive. But if you have those really like unique niche products, you might have some luck with Google ads. And then other listing sites. I'm not a huge fan of Yellow Pages, but Yelp it can be pretty good, especially if you have a physical location. And then for marketplaces, I've done a little bit on eBay and Etsy, but mostly Amazon's kind of where I've delved into everything. And then I've watched like different things about Walmart too, here and there. But with Amazon, they've been expanding their ads. They have campaign manager now. It's kind of like how Facebook, they've expanded their ads area as well. So with Facebook, I highly recommend actually to do the automated ads because they know their shoppers, they know what's in the person's cart, they know what they've previously bought, all of those things. Whereas the search engines and social sites, they don't have all of that information, where Amazon knows everything. So they know their customers so well. The ads are way, way cheaper. So what I do with my business and with my clients' businesses, I create their Shopify store, then I syndicate their product listings out to other platforms like social platforms, search engines, and listing sites and marketplaces as well. And then for Amazon, I just do the automated ads. There's a few different types of placements. Some of them you need higher rankings in them. So you need to have at least 3 stars minimum for your reviews. So if you only have like 2 stars or no ratings at all, you can't even do some of the ads like coupon ads or sponsored placement ads as well. So you do have to earn it to be in certain points, but again, you can just do the simple automated ones to get started. When you do add your products to Amazon, you have kind of a 2-week window where you can rank higher for, it's just easier to rank higher in search listings. And then after that 2-week period, if you haven't ranked very well, then your listing will basically go back down to the bottom of the pile. So always take advantage of those first 2 weeks for sure. And then I think we have our check-in. Just wanted to see how everyone's doing, how you're feeling with all this information. I know it's pretty heavy. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, let us know in the chat, like, has this been helpful to you? Do you feel overwhelmed, or do you feel like it's made some of your lives actually easier so far because of some of the tips we've given you?
A lot of info. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like each category can grow into something else. So that's the thing, is e-commerce is really big, but I think having your basics will get you going for sure. And that's a big reason why we're recording this and sending you the info, because it's kind of like your little toolkit that you can use and move forward. Yeah.
And the more you do it too, the easier it'll become as well. So it's always daunting starting something new at the start. And then once you do it a few more times, even if it's terrible at the start. Don't be afraid to screw up sometimes, and because that's how you learn and that's how you get better.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe let us know in the chat too. For some of you, was some of this information completely new, or is a lot of this, topics and things that you've seen before? Like, yeah, let us know in the chat if some of this was brand new for you. I'm very curious to find out. Yeah, Lisa, I don't know if you can see the chat.
Yeah, any comments on selling custom works? I won't have a lot of inventory. I may wait for orders. So with that, you could do pre-sales. Pre-sales is a great way to test the market and to also fund your products that you're creating, and or maybe like a course or whatever it is. So you can, try pre-sales. And then with custom works, depending on what your price point is, sometimes it can be a little challenging creating product listings that are like fully complete, just because it takes time and effort to create a product listing that's fully complete. But if you only have one of those units in stock, like how much is worth your time? But if it is a higher ticket item, absolutely go make the product listing, fill it out fully, completely, get the highest resolution pictures. But if your profit's under $10 or $20, it's not totally worth your time. So just be careful with your pricing on those.
Yeah, and to add to what Lisa's saying from a content perspective, pre-sales is big. So that's kind of where you can really hype up your product, you can get people excited about what the product is you're going to sell, and you could be like limited time offer, and limited time offer, and this is a product that will only be around for this much time. And so that can get people excited too, because I don't know if you've heard of it in your product space, but there are people who are called like hype beasts. So some people love the idea that they're getting a product that there's a limited edition of, right? So it could be really, again, playing around with how that's presented, playing around with the content around that, and showing the process and showing like this is an exclusive product that once it's whoever gets it, and that's it. That could really actually drive up pre-sales for you.
Cool.
Yeah, so I am okay. Yeah, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna briefly go into what we can offer you. If you found that this has been helpful, there are other ways to stay in touch with us and get more education. So we have two things that we're offering right now. So the first one is the e-commerce club. And the idea of the e-commerce club is it's kind of like tonight, except it'd be more of a curriculum-based thing. So we would do a monthly 2-hour meeting where we talk about both sides. We have the e-commerce side and the social media side, and we combine it together. So Lisa will bring you updates on the e-commerce trends, what's happening, what to know, what is a UPC code, how to make sure it's all, fitting in properly, and how to organize your files. You could also meet with other business owners and network, and I'd be there to answer questions around social media and content. And we create a Slack group, and we review each other's content and e-commerce plans in these meetings. And Lisa can bring up what the 2-day bootcamp offering would look like.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of feedback on sound. I don't know if everyone can mute themselves or I think it's better now. Thank you. So the 2-day bootcamp will be like a really heavy, intensive 2-day event. So it'll be about 4 hours each and 8 hours in total with that. And we'll have a guidebook taking you step by step through the process. So you can actually, bring your products and services or just your ideas or finished products that you want to revamp to the event, and then we'll go through those step by step, and you'll actually leave the event with your full completed product listing information, your photos, like everything will be like tutorialed out for you, and you'll have like all the things that you need to hit the ground running.
So yeah, to connect with us, we want to know, and I think Lisa may add these to the chat too. Let us know which ones you're interested in. We're currently doing a wait list for both. So again, there's the 2-day bootcamp option, which would be 2 days, 4 hours each day, very intensive, but you get a book, curriculum book, and it'll outline everything about product listings. We'll get your products listings aligned and content plan ready, and then you just have that book to go after those 2 days as your guidebook. We also have the e-commerce club. Some of you might want like accountability or just somewhere you can go to continually to bring up some of these things. And this one's a 4-month commitment. So it would be $100 a month, and it would end after 4 months. By all means, if you love it and want to continue, we probably do another session. But for now, that's what we're offering. And it's kind of a way like this to touch base. We will have a curriculum format, but again, it'll be more of a specific class where we can specifically work with individuals in the group on their content and e-commerce plan. And finally, if you're like, hey, I actually want a bit more support and individually, or I just have some other things in mind, here is our business email. Of course, we'll send you all the slides, and we'll be more than happy to connect with you and figure out how it is we can best support you, because maybe neither of those solutions above work for you. Again, you can join our waiting list for either one, and we'll let you know when they're ready to go. I think Lisa's added them to the chat. And yeah, so those are the offerings we have for you for today, because I know some of the topics we covered are so big by themselves. It's definitely hard to cover in one session, and there's so much more information we can share. What we'd like to say is thank you for taking part in our webinar tonight. We were really excited to put this on. We were really excited to give people these basics, because we just found in talking to people that even making a listing was just so much confusion and work. And right now, it's just such a big opportunity for business owners to really thrive, especially if you're selling online. Like, e-commerce is only going to grow. So yeah, it's our honor to share this information with you tonight. Lisa, I don't know if you have any closing words as well.
Yeah. Thank you everyone so much for being here and sharing the space with us too. And I really hope this information gives you, something else that, can give you that edge online and just help you flourish and grow. And if you have any questions or anything else, feel free to reach out to us.